Where are my pens at?
Oh my god.
There we go. Alright, so
After the cheesy shit. Holy mother of God! Ow! Wow.
so yeah, let's move on. We're done with the hair. I just kind of wanted to go in there, clean up some of these lines, get the ribbons in, and
The most perfect frame input shit.
yeah, we'll call it at that.
Goddamn.
Let's fill up this page. I'm gonna draw this a few more ways.
1 or 2 frames quicker. Fine. Be that way. What?
What do I want to do? How do I want to do this?
Jump on him. Nice.
Where is my red pen? There you are.
Holy shit, man! No! It's like guaranteed.
Okay. So if I drew her from behind, just the trench coat without the hair. And see, that's what's dope about this are the sleeves. They have this big fuzzy red stuff going on. I like that. Alright.
Dude, where is my forward?
Oh, you know what? I wonder if I could just draw that here.
This is bad. This is bad. The punish, though. Good lord.
Let me see.
Good mother of God. Chef's damage. What is that forward kick? That, like, Ken toe tap. What is that? There it is. This is bad. This is bad. So if you do 2, he for some reason doesn't block the second one. What the shit? No! Not gonna win the close range, that's for sure. Yeah. I can't believe that's not a bit. I can't believe.
We got this, finger out, grip, trigger, thumbs on the other side. And she has the
Dude.
big poofy collar or cuff.
Shit.
Like that. And then, what? She has that big old Naruto ninja collar going on. Okay. Oh, what was I talking about? Ed, right? So yeah, Ed shows up in the live action. She exists. You know how Marvel has
This is bad. I'm dead.
the post-credit scenes? Ed got put into a post-credit scene, which is like whatever, you know, like you could tell that they were shooting for more seasons at that point. So.
Oh, hell yeah. Come here, you piece of shit.
There we go.
That's bad.
Finger.
I did forward K instead of down forward K, and I died for it. Down forward K, please! Saturn controller! I'll just get killed for it. I'll just get killed for it.
There we go.
What's punishing?
Back is there.
Dude, the computer is something else. computer is something else.
There we go. Yeah, and you know, it's nothing. I don't even know what to say about it. She
God, I'm seeing the weirdest
it was atrocious. It was egregious. It was like vomit. Like the way that I guess their approach to trying to tackle a live action Ed, which was one of the biggest things about making a live action Bebop in the first place, was like you can't do Ed. So once you decide to do it, like you really gotta lock down a solid Ed. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And they certainly did not do that. Yeah, I can't even say it. It was just atrocious. It was like vomit and diarrhea all together at once. And you know, by the time you're at the end credit scene of season 1 of the live action, you're kind of already pissed off. You know what I'm saying? Like,
The darkest age known to man. Is at night, I get it.
so for them to do that at that point was just like, why? What are you doing to me? Well, why are you doing this to me? You know, like, I just had to suffer 10 episodes of Daffy Duck Vicious,
Is that
or however many episodes, too many. And I gave you the respect of watching and finishing the show because I've been anticipating this for 20 years.
okay? Wonderful, bro.
It's like, and you reward my patience with,
These checks are ridiculous.
yeah.
Oh my God,
Ugh.
every single time I've done up back kick, he does
With
like
no
that
thank
before he
you.
can interrupt me. Every single time. Oh shit! Ow, ow. Thank God. Thank God he gave me that round. Watch this asshole. God. Here, watch it again. I need to.
I'm gonna have to head out, but thanks for the stream and conversation. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Ches. Just good.
Look at him just sitting there blocking everything.
Yeah, thanks. Cause I've been wanting to talk about that, you know? I've been wanting to talk about this whole
Punish that.
Cowboy Bebop thing, and the fact that I've gone back to rewatch it because I fervently believe that if I'm gonna poo-poo something, then I should at the very least have something better to offer.
Oh no! Ow! My brain, my brain. You crouch stand ones and you get. Oh my good God. I can't believe I just did a throw tech in Virtual Fighter 2. I can't believe I just did a throw tech in Virtual Fighter 2. I do not believe it.
There we go.
I do not believe it. Against the computer, I do not believe it.
Yeah, let's get this one.
Ridiculous. Thank you, dude. We're getting places.
So yeah, I've gone back to now watching Cowboy Bebop in ways that I never watched it before, which is nice because it's like I've always, you know, now that I have my story written and everything, and
I did the same shit. Oh,
you know, I wouldn't say I'm a writer just yet. It's not until like I plan on like self-publishing and all that. So once I self-publish, then I can go ahead and call myself a writer. Hopefully people will enjoy it at that point.
Good damage. So the best whip punish is stand KK. Stand KK just at 50%.
With that said, though, like Shinichiro Watanabe is the creator of Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, Space Dandy, Carolyn Tuesday. Like, he was an inspiration to me. Like, his shows are so good that they inspired me to want to do more, even a long time ago, you know? And I always, you know, I think we all aspire to want to work on something or to create something that's as good as something that he's created.
You big asshole.
And for a long time, I've always like looked at Cowboy Bebop and wanted to write something. But again, I wasn't a writer. I wasn't trying to be a writer. I was just an artist drawing pictures and things like that. So like it was whatever.
Holy moly, I can do that too. Oh, actually, you will not let me do it. Wow! Yeah, sometimes the block just doesn't actually have any hits done, right? Sometimes they just go like, oh, whatever, I'm gonna destroy you. Jesus, the AI damage.
And yeah, like I've played out over the years, like many, like just writing in my head, a lot of scenarios. It was like the practice writing before my eventual, like taking 5 years off of doing artwork so that I can write a story. You know, everything that I kind of talked about in past streams and things like that. And you know, I'm very grateful just for that, just to have had Cowboy Bebop in my life to inspire me to be more than just a visual artist, but to finally have having written something now. The incredible difficulty that goes into creating these things. You know, I was still writing and working on it some more before I started the stream tonight.
Oh my god, I was about to do it to you. Oh, living on a prayer. Living on a prayer.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Oh my god! Holy shit! That mid. Try 6-4 PK. Alright. He didn't hit those damaging things he's got. You piece of shit! You smarmy bitch!
There we go.
No? 6-4 PK? Oh. Dude! Oh!
And yeah, man, it was shit. How do I want to do this? wrapped around, and then
I knew it. If I whipped it, he would fucking fuck me up. Oh, God. Oh, God.
there we go. Alright.
Uh-oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I should have did more.
Holy! Maybe that was forward B? Yo, what?
So yeah, I've written things in my head over the years just because I aspired to make something like Cowboy Bebop one day. You know, something of a continuous story, but really a lot of just like pulp, you know. So that way I don't have to take the story so seriously. I can kind of have fun with it, with a bunch of random stories, but with characters that we love, and maybe, you know, give them a little bit of insight into their backstory, but it doesn't have to be about all of that, you know. And it's kind of what I've set out to do with my story now, you know.
Wow! I did do so much damage. Oh my God. Holy mother of God! I win, asshole!
And damn, what was the point of all this? Well, I guess what I was kind of getting at. Not really.
God, the computer's just like, I don't give a shit, I know exactly what you're doing.
So yeah, now what do we have? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Dude, this blocked
6,
literally everything.
7,
Okay. Holy!
8.
Holy!
9. I don't know if 9 is right. Where are we at?
I tried that on Love
5,
Crush.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 goes all the way up to the collar.
Okay, wait.
So yeah.
Let me dead, asshole. Oh. Oh, I got off access. Goddamn, that was smooth as fuck looking.
So yeah, 9 going up to the upper back. It works. It's good enough.
You piece of shit. Bottom mid.
So how did this work again? So it's just on the cut in.
That's bad. The biggest punish in the world.
3,
I'll take it. Wow, the most damage. God damn you. God damn you.
Alright.
What the fuck? Holy mother of God. Oh, damn, this computer aggressive. Jesus, the microducts! The computer's able to throw you in the most ridiculous situations. Like, it's able to sneak in a throw at the most opportune moment.
There we go.
Oh! And also a flash kick. Isn't there also a flash kick? Oh, man.
Alright.
I'm dead. I don't know how to get up fast, man. It's a unique skill.
So yeah, just to have a show that is so inspiring and means so much. You know, so much to me, but, you know, so much to so many people. I'm just kind of really talking about what it means to me at this point and how much it's affected my life. Yeah, to have that happen, it just doesn't feel good, you know what I mean? Because it's like, man, you want to think that the people who got the opportunity to do the thing that we all want to do, that they would have done, you know, not necessarily what we would have done, or, you know, they wouldn't have done what I would have done personally, because I have my own headcanon about the show. It's what makes it so good. It's because we're all able to inject ourselves into these characters and into the story and the lore.
Isn't it guard in that direction? Not to quick get up. Like, I'm trying to do it consistently and I'm getting nothing, man.
Oh, doesn't that cut out? It does.
Oh, fuck. Holy shit! Sometimes the computer just doesn't let you, right? It'll just do the exact same thing, the exact guard crush, whatever it needs to do. This is the thing where nobody played Virtua Fighter 2 in the arcade because of this. The AI was nuts. Nobody played this game in arcades. Like, the machine mostly went unused beyond the graphical stuff because you couldn't get far. Like, you could only get so far against the damn, specifically the arcade AI. It would fuck you up. Notoriously would fuck you up.
And yeah, so I guess the only thing I could be grateful for is like to see that it's been done so. Yeah, I mean, damn, I hate it. It was bad. So for it to have been done so bad, all it does is open up the opportunity for it to be done right. Not that I don't think anybody's in any hurry to try to do it again, since it's been canceled and, you know, the whole world is screaming, "I told you so."
Now you just can't get up fast. I'm trying.
You know, it's gonna be on ice forever again.
Goddamn, what a shithead computer. Wow, dude. Wow. I was doing better before. Bayonetta, forward 1. Jesus, dude. Seeing that input reading shit is nuts. Oh, as soon as I die. Give me a freebie.
And so yeah, all the headcanon and everything that I kind of have in my head, it remains pure because the show is so bad. We don't have to accept any of it because the show got canceled. We definitely don't have to like ever put up with it again. Outside of voicing our displeasure. When reminiscing. So that's one thing to be thankful for, because if they had done it well and done it right, that would mean that at least for me, speaking for myself, that my opportunity to be able to put something together of similar, if not greater value is, back on the table. I can do that again. Not that I would work on a Cowboy Bebop thing. I'm a little bit busy working on my stuff. And I would probably need to get my stuff going and, let the world judge me for my work before an opportunity of that caliber would even present itself to me,
Get off the ground, for the love of God.
So yeah, you always gotta try to find the silver lining in these things.
Holy shit! Oh, dude, with the stand 1, I feel like I'm getting somewhere and you're not getting nowhere.
Man.
Okay. The funny is that made me go fucking crazy. Wow, the throat punish. There we go. Dude, do you see it? Like the blocking he's doing, it looks ridiculous. I did that. I just watched him literally, what? Game like shook out of the block stun. Dude, the game shook out of the fucking block stun. You can't do this to me. Oh, man. Even game. There we go! Stop on his nuts, please! Crush those nuts! Alright. Finally, we get to go to Dural and have no fun at all. Then we get to get to the final battle. And it's going to be not fun. Oh, no, it's Wolf! Oh, this is going to be great. Oh, God, we're not even done yet. I want to get this big kick. Let's see what this does. throw. Okay. I'm afraid. Uh-oh. Big whiff, boys! That move is useless against AI, okay. Anything that has obvious highs is worthless against AI. You see him, like, deflect? He, like, deflected the attack on Wake Up. Oh my god, I whipped the jab, and I fucking fuck you. No! Might actually be dead. There we go. Oh, dude, I can't compete throws with this guy? Oh, wow. I'm dead. You piece of shit. Alright. Alright. No! Dude, I didn't want to do that! Oh, no! Oh, so close, okay. Okay, them stand one checking my fucking flip kicks. Pretty spectacular. I hate it though. Ah. Dude. Dude. Nice. Okay. To the throw whiffs. Oh my god, dude, the throw whiffs. Oh. That's insane. Shit is insane. I'm dead. Oh, damn it. Okay, okay. Dude, the jab duck, the ability for the computer to jab, micro duck, move forward is nuts. Like, I literally whip a stand one, the computer will live 50%.
Yeah, so in the pursuit of rewatching the series and thinking about breaking it down into a 3-season thing, because obviously they were setting up for more seasons. So when you go into writing something these days, you got to think about the future in mind. And with, you know, even though the end goal isn't to make multiple seasons, the end goal is to make a good show. You know, it's not too crazy to want, you know, to be able to make a good show and also set up other seasons. Like that's like your goal. And you know, I think we can kind of agree that the whole Spike and Vicious thing can, you know, since it was the climax of the anime, we can say that that's the main part, that's the main story, that's the main conflict of, you know, the Cowboy Bebop universe, the Cowboy Bebop show, you know. And if we had to pull from the source material, the anime, and you wanted to make a multiple season thing, and you have Spike and Vicious at the forefront of it, well, the show, the anime, has already done wonders for you because it's Spike and Vicious have 3 encounters in the anime. There's the Ballad of Fallen Angels, there's Jupiter Jazz, and then there's the is it Asteroid Blues or Real Folk Blues? Either way, you know, it's the finale. It's the last 2 episodes. Those are the 3 encounters that Spike and Vicious have together. So you could say that you have your climaxes for each season. Now, we already seen those stories, and obviously we want to make something new when you go to tell a story or you go to to adapt a show or whatever. You want to stick to it, but you also want to make your own thing. So then it's like, okay, we're just building a skeleton here, of the story here. And yeah, that skeleton says, okay, the end of your season 1 would be Ballad of Fallen Angels. The end of your season 2 would be Jupiter Jazz. And the end of your season 3 would be Asteroid Blues. And it's like, okay, that's cool. At least we got, you know, we're cooking with oil here. And
So the most painful part about these fights about Virtua Fighter 2 AI is the fact that it's only when you press a button will it do shit. Only when you press a button will it execute the move that is a few frames faster or throw you for pressing anything. Like that. This is the thing that everybody hated about playing this game when it wasn't against human opponents, is that when it was AI, it was the worst.
so when I went back to rewatching the show recently, it was all
Please, dear God.
to, you know, really watch Vicious and see, like I was telling Cheska, you know, to see if he was really as ruthless and vicious and, you know, the nightmare that I kind of have him in my head to be. And he is. And we have him at the finales of all these, you know, for writing this thing, where we have him at the finale of all these things.
require obscure solutions. Do I feel bad about it? Not at all. Entire AI is literally cheating. Oh, you fucking asshole.
Oh damn, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so I'm watching these things, and I wanted to test that theory to see if that would work. If Ballad could be the season finale, which is episode 5, which means you may only have 5 episodes to pull from. And they're half-hour episodes, not even, they're technically like 20-something minutes apiece. So technically, you have, you know, let's call them a half hour though. You have 2.5 hours worth of material to try to stretch into being a 2.5 hours of material to stretch into being a 10-episode show, maybe roughly, you know, 10 episodes of an hour apiece. Doesn't have to be that, but if, you know, that's kind of like where things have gone. Honestly, I'm a fan of the 13 episode season, myself. I'm a fan of that. But either way, you want to stretch it to a lot of time. So let's say it's 10 one-hour episodes. You have 2.5 hours of material that you got to transfer to 10 hours. Well, there's a lot of story that you can now put in to retelling it, and you know that the climax is going to be Spike running into Vicious. And something that I kind of liked about the live action anime, at the very least, like to give it some flowers, to give it some respects, is I really liked that they kind of had the syndicate, like all the goons that were in the show, they all kind of represented the syndicate that, you know, Vicious is a part of. So when they were doing the Red-Eye Coyote episode, you know, episode 1 of the anime, you know, the Red-Eye Coyote will be in the Zona Norte, motherfucker. Asimov. When they were telling his story, and we got the chick and all that other stuff, like, I liked that the gangsters that were going after them were the same Red Dragon Syndicate. See, in my head, they were, you know, all the gangsters, unless they were identified as Red Dragon Syndicate, I never thought of them as that. Like, I just thought of them as just, like, the gangsters of that land. You know, you come to Florida, you got different gangsters than if you go to Chicago. Even if there's a, you know, a Hell's Angel chapter out here in Florida, there would be a Hell's Angels chapter out in, you know, Wyoming and shit like that. Like, you know, so I kind of never thought to put all the gangsters that you see in these shows, like these little, like throwaway bad guys that were in the anime, I never thought to put them as, like, a single unit. The live action did that. They were like, they were basically saying, like, yeah, the Red Dragon Syndicate is, like, the only syndicate. And while that could be a bad thing, like, I think it actually worked, and it made sense for, like, the syndicate to run into Spike because he's bounty hunting and they're chasing somebody, you know, so they're chasing Asimov and the chick. And Spike's chasing them. The Bebop crew is chasing them. it's like, okay, they're gonna run into each other. They ran into each other in the anime, and now they're running into each other in the live action. Except in the live action, these, you know, these small time, just regular gangsta dudes, they're Spike's old associates. And, you know, they don't necessarily have to know each other like they're best friends, like how Spike and Vicious know each other. But if Vicious is, you know, as notorious as he is, and he is, you know, we all know it, Spike would have been, you know, somebody to be reckoned with in the syndicate. So it wouldn't be crazy if we're pulling from the first 5 episodes of you know, that anytime they ran into those little goons, they would have been able to report that back to Vicious. Maybe he doesn't pay attention to it at first, but then eventually it gets his attention. They look up the Bebop crew. They see Spike Spiegel's name. And they're like, wait, what? Spike is there? And then boom, boom. Now you have Vicious, who's on the Spike's case. And you have Spike, who's trying to avoid the goons. He's just chasing bounties. You know what I mean? Like, I think that was a beautiful setup. And yeah, let's see. Here's my TV. Here's my couple of Bebop. So if we look at the episodes, there's the Asimov episode. They run into goons there. So there's one bit. They have the Stray Dog Strut where they get Ein. I believe there's goons there because there's people stealing the dogs, and then there's the dog chasers and all that stuff. You know, you can have, like, just like the Yakuza, how they're kind of in all the businesses. You can have somebody in the dog business. That's from the Yakuza, or, you know, from the Syndicate and all that. Then we get introduced to Faye with the casino and all that. You're dealing with bosses like anime, the boss who wanted the chip and all that stuff. Like that whole storyline of that episode. There's goons in there. Then you have Gateway Shuffle, which was the terrorists. You know, the eco-terrorists. Like, you have them. And that doesn't deal with the Syndicate at all, I don't believe. But it does put the Bebop on the map. If they have to shut down a gate, that's a big government move to have to try to shut down the gate. And if the Bebop would have been something a part of it, of like, hey man, we gotta shut down this gate, but you guys, you know, gotta stop these terrorists, like, it would have put Bebop on the map. So if Vicious is kind of onto Bebop's case, and Bebop, like, gets themselves on the map because they're a part of this whole Gateway Shuffle incident that happens, you know, it's like, boom, sir, we found them. They just did this shit with this Gateway Shuffle thing with those eco-terrorists. You know what I mean?
Audio freaked out too.
And then boom, episode 5, Ballad of Fallen Angels. The cop hits up Jet about a bounty for a Red Dragon member, and we know how that episode plays out. It's like, I think having that through line of having all the little goons in these episodes be a part of the actual Red Dragon Syndicate in one way or another was probably the most genius thing that they could have did. And that was the part of me that got me excited about the show, because I was like, damn, they did something that I never thought of. 20 years watching this.
Thank God we don't have to deal with that shit anymore. Well, there you go. See, I love this game, but I don't know if I've ever actually, like, even on the Saturn version way back in the I don't know if I ever actually even beat Dural. Much less, I would only ever play the first three rounds when I was young, and just reset it. Then just reset it, and then just reset it, because it wasn't worth it. Fighting the computer later on was just so frustrating that the experience isn't worth it. It's more fun to fight people. And this game still, when you fight against people, is great. Game is great, and it's the cool part is that at least in the end you get to see how insane it actually is when you get people that are really good at it.
So yeah, I think if you had to turn that into 10 full seasons, there's plenty of time there to like extrapolate on a lot of the story. You know what I mean?
One of the most industry-influencing fighting games of all time, one of the best-selling fighting games of all time,
And tell a little bit more of Ein's story.
actually good to this day. I think gameplay-wise, this game has aged better than Street Fighter 2, right? Like regular Street Fighter 2. I think regular Street Fighter 2 is a bit rough by comparison right now. But this shit is amazing, dude. This shit is still amazing. See something. There's yeah. So this game is is heavily interlaced, right? This is a 480i game, so you get all this crazy like artifacting all over the place. Unless I turn this on. In fact.
So yeah.
Let's try something really fast.
And I think just by telling just that little bit of story, getting a little bit into Ein's backstory, extrapolating on you know the red eye drug, the face swapping, like the show had all that, but they just didn't do it. You know,
Weave -2.
it was like someone had a good idea and then someone shat on it. If I had to guess.
Let me see. I'm trying Weave -2 to see if it fixes it, but it might not. I'm still seeing the artifacting and shit. Yeah, it's still there. Motion adaptive really is the best way. It's the only way to get this loot looking good. The problem is, chat, like you'll have a sharper looking image when it comes to interlace games, but you're gonna have all this crazy like shadowing effect with everything. But if you do have something that is a de-interlacer, you can get it good looking, but it will make it look softer. It will naturally sync up the frames a bit more. It's unfortunate, but it still is good. Because a lot of old Saturn and PlayStation games are, what do you mean by interlaced? Number one, go Google what is interlaced. You'll have an understanding. And then Google what is progressive. It is the two ways that games were essentially made back on the PS2, PS3, N64 era. They're either interlaced or progressive. And progressive works a lot better with our modern TVs, but interlace doesn't. Interlace works good with tubes, old tubes.
So yeah, I think that would have lined up perfectly. Would have been enough story to tell something compelling, get Spike and Vicious reunited in one, you know, by the finale. Even if it was like a 5-episode thing. So that way you only had to make 5 hours out of 2.5 hours and just make it a small season 1. Just something short and sweet. Like, why does it have to be all these episodes? Like, if you had all this money to make something, like, you could have just put more into less episodes. That way you can kind of guarantee yourself a season 2. And then you do season 2 bigger and better. You don't want to set up too much. That way, by the time you get the season 2 offer, you kind of, you shit the bed. You already used all the stuff, and now you have to pull from just, like, your own memory, like your own headcanon, and think that you can create something that's on par.
produces this weird, like, strobing effect on everything. This is what interlace does.
On par with the genius writing of the original content? Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Don't do that to yourself.
You just fire up Tekken 3, and you're like, oh, I just want to play Tekken 3, and you just turn it on, and it'll look like this. It'll look like shit. So you need to have something to de-interlace it. The only problem is that de-interlacing, which now it's de-interlaced, de-interlacing adds to the softness of the image. It's just the way it goes. You need like a retro tank, or you need a frame meister, or something like that. And we're running it through a retro tank, which is what we're doing. That's how we're getting this imagery. VF2 is better than 1 in terms of graphics? Well, obviously. I mean, obviously. All right, chat, what's our next game? We're around the 1994-1995 era. And you know what? Yeah, I think the next game 100% is Killer Instinct. So, for that, I got a handy little something. Our good friends at Brooks, I think I got these, they sent me these to test out. That is a Nintendo and Super Nintendo plug into a Brook converter. So, we're going to use my Xbox 360 arcade stick, which I think should work. I'm going to find out. I'm going to stick this into my Super Nintendo, and we're going to see if we can use a modern-day arcade stick on the SNES, which should be a little fun. Let's give it a shot. Potential tech issues. Yes, we got a tech issue potential coming up, chat. Potential tech problems. Here we go. We're just gonna plug this in. It might not work with an Xbox 360 stick, but I think it does. So let's not plug it in. I see lights. Kinda. Hey! Oh man! Super Nintendo, and I am using my arcade stick on a Super Nintendo, man. Oh boy! So if we're gonna play Killer Instinct, chat, this is the so just for perspective, right? Just for perspective of the situation, let's go to the hacked version of KI that we got. Yeah, we'll fire up the good audio. So we're actually running this on a Super Nintendo, number one. This is the version of KI that I got that, like, I'd say changed my life. So let's talk about that really fast. Wait for it. Beautiful. This is I'm using an arcade stick on the Super Nintendo right now. So Killer Instinct, believe it or not, was the first game that I took seriously and I actually competed in. I didn't live close to big cities or anything, but I did have a rec room that all the kids and teenagers went to on weekends. So what I did was, Killer Instinct was a hot game there. Like, everybody loved KI. It was like a huge Super Nintendo game, right? And I just practiced everything at home. Like, when I eventually got this game at home, because arcades are expensive and you just don't have that much money to spend on arcades, I practiced every character, every breaker, everything I possibly could. And I did it with the Killer Instinct guide, right? I actually have it downstairs, the Killer Instinct, the actual KI official Nintendo strategy guide was the one that I used. And it gave you a lot of really good shit in it, and it was one of the prettiest strategy guides there was. I remember bringing it to school all the time. So, long story short, this was the first game I took actually seriously. and I was around 10, 11 years old, and I would go to the rec room every weekend and just mop the floor with like 20 to 30 people. And people would be pissed because whenever I showed up, I'd essentially come there and just like dominate the place. And it would be very good feeling, but at the same time, like everyone wants to see you die, right? Everyone, at that point, if you're winning that much in any situation, people just want to see you lose. So, who was I main? The whole roster. I've forgotten all of it, by the way. Number one, this was a little while ago. Maybe 20
Getting some Max
years.
lore over here.
So I've forgotten literally all of it. But I knew the whole roster, like literally every single character. So when I essentially had this experience, I go back and I realized like, wow, actually my competitive days technically began in 1995 on the Super Nintendo version of KI, because we essentially had our fighting game community for Killer Instinct, and we went there and we played, and I eventually remember after like 3 months in the summer when I started losing and everyone else around me started leveling up, right? And it started getting a lot better. So, yeah, I have some pretty, like, it's crazy to me to think that technically Killer Instinct Super Nintendo was my first big, like, FGC game before the term FGC, before, like, the internet for the most part. Like, there was, like, AOL chat rooms. It was nuts. And I did everything I could with all the time that I had in a summer where I just spent every single moment playing the hell out of this game. I loved it. And I was specifically going out and trying to find the people that were as good as possible so that I could play. Am I gonna get the Killer Instinct Pro 1 cab? Oh, the Pro. Maybe. Yeah, the Pro's the big one, right? Anyway. Yeah, 1995 was technically the first time I was like aware that there was people like playing fighting games and trying to be really good at them. And they all would gather in the same spot every single week, and that's where I would go to play the shit out of KI. Super Nintendo fucking KI. And I have an arcade stick now, which is amazing. It's actually set some buttons. Oh my god. Uh-oh. This has the weird button problem, chat, where it doesn't recognize left trigger and right trigger. There's a way to fix that, though, right? There is a way to fix that on the Brook, because I need to change this to L. Yeah, L and R over here aren't being recognized, and I need them, right? I need them. There is a way to change this on a Brook converter. And I don't know, there is like a combination of buttons or some sort of like prompt that you have to press to get this done. Hold on a second. It's like hold left in something, yeah.
And then last week, I was watching the second half, you know, pushing my theories some more. I was like, you know what, season 1 could have just been that. Would have been simple. Would have got introduced to Ein and Faye. No Ed yet. Which is fine. That would have been the hardest live-action casting to do anyway. So it's like, you know what? Let's try to skip on Ed for now. Let's get a good show. And once we get the good show and the good money, we can actually put some money towards, like, trying to find a really good Ed. Not to hire an expensive actress, but, you know, it'd probably take some time to, like, hold so many auditions. I mean, give Ed the respect she deserved, man. That's a hell of a character.
So here's what we're trying to do. So select plus X and A. There's a combination on here that allows us to switch. Make this big. controller connection. Xbox 360. Simply connect the Xbox 360 wireless receiver to Wingman's Nest to the USB port. Permanently red LED of the device indicates the connection is successful. Yes. Pairing mode. Switch the input mode. Switch to fight stick mode. Hold share. Oh shit. Oh god, how do we do it? Somebody just put it in here? Does somebody know the actual input for it? Turbo function, canceling turbo function, remap settings. You have to like switch the modes or something like that. I don't want to remap it. I think there is a way that you can just change it. Fuck this music, dude. My god. Sorry. Not English. BG, thank you, dude. Share button to next? Well, here's the problem. I don't have a share button. I have a select button on this. I have a back button. Select plus A. Uh-oh. That did it. Oh, that did it. Maybe not. This might be weird. We're gonna find out. That might have done it. Let's see. It's kind of hard to tell. Thunder. No, that did not do it. Did not do it. Did not do it, sadly. Bring this up again. Which version of KI had Better Music Arcade or SNES? You have the same adapter. It's kind of janky. I got it to work with your PS4, but not the PS3 stick. All right, well, I got it working on my Xbox 360 stick. I'm just trying to figure out how to get the button mapping correct. Oh, wait. Corresponding button list. Xbox 360. Healthy, hard, back. That's counting as the options button. Right, okay. Hold share plus X. Red LED is permanently on. It looks like it is right now. There it is. Now it's green. So, let's see if that did anything. No. Alan R. still acting stupid. Yeah, this is a ROM modded with arcade music. The nice part is that I can switch this to stick mode, right? I'm actually seeing the button change over here, so the red LED is on. Following instructions are based on the PS5 controller flows. Taking another controller for the corresponding button list, yada yada yada. Enter the setting mode. Okay, this is some crazy shit. We can actually remap it and save it to the device. Hang on.
So yeah, even more difficult became what I would, presume be season 2, which is everything from episode 6 to episode 13. So at that point you have 7 episodes, so that's about 3.5 hours. So you have an hour more worth of content to try to pull a season 2 out of, where the finale again would be Spike versus Vicious in the Jupiter Jazz episodes. And that one would have been a little bit more obscure, because if we look at the episodes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Ballad of Fallen Angels, I would just play that out exactly like how it's done in the anime. There's no reason to ever do it any different. So that's the end of season 1. Then you start season 2. You have Sympathy for the Devil. You have the little devil kid who lives forever. Talking about the Space Gate accident, which is interesting because it opens up the lore about the world in Cowboy Bebop, but also it opens up a little bit of Faye's backstory as well, because even though we don't know it at this point, she got into the accident of the space gate blowing up. That's where she got her start, and it's where the Sympathy for the Devil kid got his start. You're dealing with Giraffe and Zebra, and they're like old military guys, so you get to dive a little bit into veterans and things like that. There's that whole world, and coming off of season 1 where you're jumping into veterans and army and stuff like that. Then you have Heavy Metal Queen, and you get the back. It's the old classic episode. Rock and roll, truckers, space delivery, all this stuff, yada yada. But you get the backstory of the bounty hunter, or whatever, Terpskide. I forget his name. But that's when Spike guesses her name, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Valentina Terpskide," and nobody would ever guess that. But if anybody saw the picture of your husband, they would know who you are. Anyone who's a space cowboy knows his name. Anyone who's a bounty hunter knows exactly who that is. So you get like a little bit of that story, and I believe there's like a comic book or something, or a manga out there that tells the story of the old Terpskide bounty hunter. So it's like you could dive into that. That hasn't been animated, so you could take that story and make that an episode or 2. You know what I mean? Where you have the current day Heavy Metal Queen, but you have the backstory, and you could throw that in there somewhere. Waltz on Venus, or whatever it's called. With the that's a one-off, but it's one of my favorite episodes. It makes me cry every time. The Rocco character. And again, you dive back into the gangsters, and now they're dealing with Gray Ash and all this other stuff. So it's like, okay, Spike is now he's aware of Vicious. Now he's really trying to avoid any bad stuff, and here comes this Rocco character dragging him back in, and then you have that, and then we get jamming with Edward. We get introduced to Edward. That's what I was gonna say is like the main thing about season 2 is we finally complete the Bebop crew with her. And if we're trying to stretch 3.5 hours to 10 hours worth of information, you could probably turn that into 2 episodes. Because it's a major character. You would want to do it big. And one of my favorite parts is you get the classic Spike line of like, Jet, there's 3 things that I hate. It's animals, and then it cuts to Ein, kids, and it cuts to Ed, and he goes, and women with attitudes, and it cuts to this epic shot of Faye smoking a cigarette, looking all boss-like on the couch, and he goes, can you tell me why we have all three of them on the ship? Da 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 da. And you have the Cowboy Bebop crew complete. It'd be great. I love it. You know, Ganymede Shuffle or whatever it's called, Ganymede Blues, where you get Jet's old story. Would have been great. And again, they're dealing with the mob because they owe money. His ex-girlfriend's dating this new guy, Loan Shark, they owe money. Just make all the gangsters Red Dragon Syndicate. Fuck it. And now, so it's like, okay, this isn't Spike dealing with them. This is Jet's story, but then Jet, oh yeah, Spike pulled away from chasing down the bounty to let Jet do it. So that'd be perfect, because Spike's like, well, good, because I don't want anything to do with the Syndicate anyway. You know, and then you have Toys in the Attic, another one, probably definitely my favorite episode of all time. Some people say it's the last episode, but whatever. Like, anyway, doesn't make sense to me. I think it's perfect for what it is. So, yeah, you get Toys in the Attic, and that's just a one-off episode. I mean, I don't even know if that would ever exist unless it's just another one-off episode in a live-action sense. But yeah, I think it's perfect. And plus, Ed wins in the end. She never got bit by the monster. She ended up eating it. So it's like, you know, you introduce Ed, and now you give her this epic moment of eating the Toys in the Attic creature, and it's like, oh, okay, she's like, she serves more than just being the hacker nerd of the crew. And then boom, you're jumping into Jupiter Jazz, episodes 1 and 2. And the reason why Spike gets pulled in is because the name Julia gets pulled up. So yeah, it's like, and then you just tell the Jupiter Jazz story. It's 2 episodes, so you have an hour worth of content. You have the whole backstory of the army. You know, you have Giraffe and Zebra, who, you know, they were soldiers. So you could have had, you know, told a little bit of soldier stuff there. And then boom, you go to Jupiter Jazz and you're dealing with the soldier stuff there. And you could talk about the army stuff in that world and all that other stuff. And you have Spike versus Vicious again. This time they're in an epic fight, you know, with the spaceships and all that other shit. Flying around and shit. And then something that I always forget, and it always catches me every time, is oh, sorry, drinking water. Is the Red Dragon, the spaceship. You finally get to see the spaceship that or at least Vicious spaceship of the Red Dragon, and it's this giant red spaceship, and it just looms. You know, you think the Bebop is a big one because it houses Faye's spaceship, the Swordfish, and Spike's or Jet's Hammerhead. And you think the Bebop is a big ship, and then you see the Red Dragon ship, or at least Vicious Red Dragon ship, and you're like, that's a big fucking ship. And then Spike just flies away, and he's like, ah, fuck it. Like, getting away again. Like, I don't want nothing to do with that big-ass ship. And then we get to see a little bit of power of the Red Dragon. And again, who says it has to be 10 episodes, man? Like, if these are half-hour episodes, maybe you want to stretch them to an hour long. So then, season 1 would have been 5 episodes. Or 5 hours. You know, and then season 2 could be 7 episodes, 7 hours of content. Like if you could do more, but it's like you don't really need to do too much more.
Erasing all remap settings function buttons. Press share.
So, you know,
Plus options.
I think that would be the way to go and do it. Like it seems like it's really possible. In theory, of course. And I'm sure there's people who've written plenty of stories who'd be like, yeah, it works in theory, but it wouldn't work for real, for real.
It's not resetting. God damn it. St. Valiant, thank you, dude.
But that's just my point, man. It's like, if I were to write one, that's how I'd go about doing it.
Nanjiki, thank you, dude. Yeah, options plus PSD.
And I haven't finished watching the show to try to see if season 3 could be put together. Sorry. I don't know why my throat is so dry, man. I'm just thirsty up in this motherfucker. So,
it was human error.
So yeah, I haven't finished watching it. I would love to watch the rest of the show. And then you have episodes 14 to 26 to do season 3. Because once you have season 1, and that's good, and you get season 2, and you do Ed right, you're definitely going to get the season 3. Because it's like, hey man, I plan for season 3. This is how I'm going to go. This is how I'm going to do it. And then boom, you get it.
Stream without a text stream. It wouldn't be a stream without you're trying to fix something, right?
So yeah, I wanted to watch the rest of the show.
Okay. So you want the final
with the same eyes that I've watched, you know, the first half, in order to see how I would put together the last episode. Because, you know, now at that point you're dealing with 13 episodes, so that's a lot of, you know, that's 7 or 6.5 hours worth of content to try to decipher and break down and then like write a 3rd season out of.
Okay, that's under L now. We're good. Okay. So there's a very specific order to this.
Oh yeah, there was something I was thinking about when I was like really jumping into this this idea of rewriting or writing a live action with the intention of 3 seasons, a live action Cowboy Bebop with the intention of 3 seasons and all that other stuff. Was Faye's backstory with Whitney Haggis Matsumoto. And
Now I think it actually works, right? Now I think it's actually working.
You know, we have Sympathy for the Devil, or which talks about the space gate explosion. That's where we're introduced to the idea.
I think this might be it. I think we're good now. I should play full gore, right? Full bat. So this is SNES. Okay.
And I was thinking that because Bebop is all over the place, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be in order, but you would want to try to keep it in order as much as possible, like keep it in the same order as the original, but you wouldn't have to. I think if you were to tell Faye's backstory with Whitney Haggis Matsumoto, that's something that could be done in case you needed to borrow for more time in an earlier season or something like that. That's like an episode that you can take from the back end and throw it up front.
There we go. There we go.
You know, everything dealing with Faye with the VCR episode, and then the Whitney Haggis Matsumoto backstory, That was another thing I didn't like about the live action right away. They made Faye a bounty hunter. I was like, Faye's not a bounty hunter. Like, yeah, she's a bounty hunter when she becomes a part of the Bebop crew, but before that, she was a swindler. She was a hustler. She was somebody who was screwing people over. She was a con artist. It was like she wasn't going after bounties. Like, that's why she's able to swindle people at cards. That's why she's like, she already has her spaceship to get away from, you know, to get away. That's why she was dealing with the mob and trying to pay off her debt. Like how could she have a bounty on her head because she owes so much money and also be a bounty hunter? It doesn't make sense. Oh, I'm gonna register to be a bounty hunter because I'm a wanted person. No, it doesn't work like that. Like, that was another thing that annoyed me about the live action, where I was like, you know, because they had that whole thing where her and Spike were comparing scars, and then she was like, I got this scar from hunting down this bounty. And I was like, when did you hunt down bounties? Because you're not a bounty hunter. You have a bounty on your head. So how could you be turning in bounties? Like it just didn't make sense. I didn't like that. You know, again, you go in with the glass half full sort of mentality. And whatever, it just didn't work out that way.
Okay. All right. What is the wrong goddamn character over there? Eye laser, plasma port front, plasma port behind.
So yeah, it's
laser. Okay. And I don't know if there's any shadow moves, right? Is this tournament? Yes. I just won the whole tournament. This tournament, and I just won it. Okay. Let's do it. Let's do it. There are shadows, not in the SNES version. The SNES could not pump out the visuals of the shadows, unfortunately. That was this combo breaker, just uppercut DP. Chat, is Smokeover's combo breaker uppercut with, is it punch or kick? Or is it just punch? I forget how they work in KI1. Do you have to choose between, like, light punch, medium punch, heavy punch? Yeah, I should go get the guidebook, to be honest. Is it light punch? Hold on a second. Hang on. I'm gonna go do it, chat. I'm gonna go fulfill the destiny. Hang on a second. 1 minute. this shit, right? Who actually has any according memory of this thing? The Holy Grail, the most valued strategy guide ever. Okay, hold on a second. Dang, look how cool this book is. Already. And these, like, CG splendors were incredible back in the 90s. Back in, like, the mid-90s, it was like, God damn, look how cool this looks. Look at that, look at this. Oh, man. So pretty. The visual aesthetic of KI, man. It's just got something real special to it.
There we go.
Look at this wonderful shit. Look at all this wonderful shit in here. This guide made me, I swear to God. Albert, thanks for the 5 gift subs, dude. I swear to God,
Boss
this
bitch
guide
trench coat over here.
everything to me. Tournament mode, 1-player mode, 2-player, color select, fast mode, random select, music select, combo breaker mode. This option can help even the odds between players of different skill levels by making it easier or tougher to interrupt or break a combo. Auto doubles, openers, linkers, goddamn, dude. It's even got top attacks, which is like the overheads. Look at, this was the, like the holy grail of like Killer Instinct formula over here. You see this shit? This like diagram? This was the diagram that we all fucking like figured out how to use. Like what the hell goes into what? Top attack to jump in pattern to linker to laser blade to quick kick to ender, you know, this kind of shit. God, dude, combo levels. Sequences. Oh, it's cool shit in here. Gives you all these examples of it. Tom Perot, thanks for the $5, man. We've seen the amazing Make My Next act that's been in development for 10 years. It's called Make My Next Directed. I have seen it, yeah. Never actually played it, but I have seen it. Ultras, ultimates, danger moves, air doubles. Air doubles are extremely rare, as they're extremely difficult to do. If both warriors are in the air, you can execute some moves that you normally wouldn't be able to do. What the... That is actually what it says. So clearly whoever was making the guide didn't know what it was either. This is the actual description for air doubles, right? Look, this is the description. Listen to this again. Air doubles are extremely rare and difficult to do. If both warriors are in the air, you can execute some moves that you normally wouldn't be able to do. So what is it? Like, how do you do it? What? It's rare and difficult. So it's going to be and it won't normally happen. What? What? Excuse me? I'm looking for information here, man. Alright. I'm looking for, oh god, dude, the combo Bible. Hang on. I'm trying to find, like, full gore. Oh, I remember looking at this one a lot. Damn, dude, look how sick this shit is, man. Look how sick this is. Focus! Look how cool this is, dude. My god. And then it gives you these, right? Remember this shit where it's like, this is the opener, right? This is the opener, and then you go into your linker over here, and then you end with all this stuff. It, like, gives you all this straight detail of, like, how the hell to work the game. And then the actual, like, easy, difficult combo guides. For every single character. So sick, dude. So sick. Anyway, let's go over here to Fubat. Yeah, alright, so, see if there's anything out of here that I can't get used to. Reflect, eye laser, combos, specials. Oh, Jesus, man. Look how fucking cool this is. Look how fucking cool this is. Oh, man. Look how cool this is. These are basic. Elite combos are essentially just full combo strings, right? Like, these are the most difficult combos in the game, apparently, for these characters. But all they really are is just, you know, your opener, your doubles, your linkers, your doubles, your enders, your proper full finishers, you know? So here's what I'm looking for. The final page has like all the details on ultras and all that kind of shit. So combo breaker is Shoryuken with punch. To break your force combo and tap the appropriate punch button. So from what I understand, you need to match the double, right? You need to actually like match the button that they're doing, right? Then you maintain that guide so perfect. Oh, my original one is toast. My original one is fucking long gone. Fulgore's press release move is a fierce cyber dash that may require some practice to master. Press and hold fierce kick, then charge back towards and release fierce kick. That's the triple hit, right? I gotta try something. That's an interesting thing. I remember buying another one like 10 years ago or something like that. So practice. Post combo breaker. Deliver 3 times the pain with full burst. Wow, you can combo after combo breakers. Interesting. You can combo after combo breakers. So air double is this. Use this airborne assault to unleash some mechanized rhythm.
There we go.
Well, you and your opponent are in the air. Tap toward, down toward.
Who are we at?
Oh, they have to be jumping too, which you can't like do. Weird. Weird. So here's the press release. Does that one just go further? Oh, it does. Look at this. Here's heavy. Here's press release. Come on, man. Goes full screen. The press release one, where you hold it down and you let it go, actually goes full screen.
All right. Let's see, what else do I want to do?
Do you not get any? There we go. Oh, that's right. This is where this came from. Watch this, chat. This is where this shit came from. Where you can cancel this. You can cancel it into a DP. Pretty cool. And they kept that. Fulgore still has this with the new KI. L breaks M, M breaks H, and H breaks L. Oh god. So weird.
All right.